Now I would like to speak to Amendment 6, Mr. President. Okay. Thank you. Again, I don't believe this is a philosophical difference. This is just a technical matter that I believe there's bipartisan concern about and bipartisan support for. This amendment reforms the way that the Lottery Corporation is required to pay money into the Lottery for Education account. Let me begin here. Our lottery pays about 26% of its revenues into the Lottery for Education account. That puts us at 29th among 42 state lotteries. The national average is closer to 30%, so we are below average. Now, we have heard, I know off the record and on the record, a huge amount about how great and wonderful our Lottery Corporation is. But right now, we have the success of our lottery is always touted in terms of revenues. What we do is we have lots and lots of revenues. We've heard over and over again what lottery revenues means. It means people are going in our communities all over this state and paying their money. Now, those revenues, there's no public benefit from maximizing lottery revenues. We've heard some call it gambling. It is. But there's no benefit publicly to maximizing the lottery revenues. The only thing that really matters, that provides the public benefit, is maximizing the amount that goes into the education fund. So what we have done thus far is maximize the revenues and minimize the amount that we've gone into education. The other important thing, in the 90s, our number was above 30. It has progressively gone down. Here is our super successful lottery. Every year, the revenues go up. This is adjusted for inflation. Every year, the lottery revenues have gone up. And every year, the amount that has been paid into the education account has been almost dead flat. That is the best demonstration that I have seen of what the Lottery Corporation is maximizing and what they are minimizing. And they have reduced the percentage almost every year in order to maintain that red line. And maybe they've done a good job of taking that blue line, the gambling line, up as high as they can go. But the line that we care about, the line that I care about, and the line I know in my heart you guys care about, is that bottom line. How much are we putting into the educational account for our students? That's the public benefit. That's the promise that we made as the state and that the people of Georgia accepted when they allowed the lottery. We don't want gambling in our state. We didn't want it many years ago when we voted for it. We don't want it now, I don't think. I personally may not feel that way, but I'm sure that as a body we do. And so we need to decide if we want to maximize the gambling and minimize the education or have it be the other way around. Now, one other important thing. This is simple math with regard to the HB 326. If we do not reform the lottery, this gives the lottery the benefit of the doubt. This says that lottery revenues will grow by 30% over the next 10 years, which is what they did, and that the amount paid into the educational account will grow by 30%. Now, it also assumes, this is Georgia Southern. Georgia Southern's tuition grew 152% over the last 10 years. If it grows 152% over the next 10 years, that's where it will be. And if the lottery grows 30%, that's where the lottery will be. And the cost to the students will be half, and Hope will pay half. That's not the promise that we made. That is not what Hope would look like. Now, that's the best case scenario with no lottery reform. That is the best case scenario. HB 326 does not pay for itself without lottery reform. In fact, as I mentioned, they have continually reduced the percentage. Every single year since the mid-90s, we have reduced the percentage that the Lottery Corporation has paid into the education account. And if that trend continues, in 2020, the lottery revenues will fund less than 22% of the total tuition costs, assuming the same rate of increase in tuition that we had before. That's 10 years. My child is 4. He's going to be 14 in 10 years. We're talking about a whole host of people for whom this plan does not pay for itself unless we have a change in the way that the lottery happens. Generations of people, and they're not far away. Second part of the bill. Now let me explain the mechanics of the amendment. In order to solve this problem with regard to this bill, This merely calls for a graduated increase each year. Fiscal year 2012, the net proceeds would equal at least 27.5%. In the fiscal year 2013, the net proceeds would equal 28.5%, et cetera, until it gets to 30%. That's just the national average now. The original statute says as close as practicable to 35%. Now, the important part of this is the last sentence. Notwithstanding the provisions of this paragraph, in any fiscal year prior to fiscal year 2016, if the net proceeds in a given fiscal year are less than the net proceeds in the previous fiscal year. In other words, if we in fact do hamstring the lottery somehow by requiring them to maximize the amount that's put into education, we'll stop. And we'll keep it at that level. So it is a circuit breaker that allows the lottery to step up, and if there is in fact a reduction, stop. We're not trying to micromanage, we're trying to maximize the amount that goes into the education fund. The other thing that this amendment does, lines 24, returns to the governor's original plan of providing commissions to the retailers of 5%. And that concludes my presentation, Mr. President, and if there's any questions, I would yield to those questions. Thank you so much.